controversial, quote, the Ronald Reagan Foundation has just announced that Canada has fraudulently used an advertisement. He goes on to say that they only did this to interfere with the decision of the U.S. Supreme Court and other courts. Tariffs are very important to the national security and economy of the USA. Based on their egregious behavior, all trade negotiations with Canada are hereby terminated, writes the president. The Supreme Court will take up President Trump's tariffs in less than 2 weeks, a hearing that the president himself said that he may attend. That's happening on November 5th. May very well set the tone for markets and the economy. Joining me now is the Secretary of the Interior, Doug Burgum. Secretary, it's great to happening. Thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Good morning, Maria. Great to be with you as always.
Well, your reaction to this issue now with Canada, I mean, this upcoming Supreme Court hearing is clearly incredibly important to the president. He may very well attend that hearing. And if it goes the wrong way against President Trump, the U.S. is going to have to be on the hook to give back all that tariff revenue, isn't it?
Well, this is a very important case, but I'm confident that President Trump is going to come out on the right side on this thing. I think it's clear that he has the authority to be able to execute on this tariff strategy. And as he said, and as you've seen as the market's reacting, finally, after decades and decades balancing trade, leveling the playing field with countries that have taken advantage of the United States, critically important.
Yes, exactly. So we'll be waiting to see how that goes. Meanwhile, we've got this government shutdown going into day 24 today. Can you talk to us about the interior and the impact that you've seen?
Well, I can, but just as you said, President Trump heading off to Asia tonight, an incredible work that he's done in the Middle East. I mean, he's playing large on the global stage and winning. The Democrats are playing small ball in Washington, D.C. and losing. I mean, voting against paying our military yesterday. I mean, it's just one crazy decision after another. And none of this helps the American people. China, Maria, is not taking 4 weeks off here. They haven't shut down their government. We're in a AI arms race against China. We're battling to end wars around the world. Everything that President Trump is doing to, cut off the economy of Russia with these oil sanctions, and the Democrats in D.C. are fighting with nothing. I mean, it's absolutely insane. And in terms of every agency, including Interior, essential services, we can keep things going. We're doing everything we can, national parks, permitting, all the stuff we can do. But we're having to grab dollars out of every available source we can to try to keep essential services going. But at some point that runs out. And no business would shut themselves down and tell their customers, we don't know when you're coming back. The Interior is a business. We have revenue. We have customers to serve, and it's so damaging for the Democrats to basically, when they're shutting down the government, they're shutting off access to America's balance sheet, and that's bad for timber. It's bad for grazing. It's bad for oil and gas. It's bad for food prices. It's bad for the entire economy. And I guess they don't care what happens to the American people, what happens to small businesses, or what happens to, say, like the entrance communities or national parks, during fall leaf season. I mean, they're killing small businesses around the country with these actions that actually are meaningless here in D.C.
So the president gears up for this multi-county tour. I mean, he's going to go to Malaysia. He's going to go to Japan. And then he will go to the APEC summit and meet with Xi Jinping on the sidelines. What would you like to see at that meeting, Secretary?
Well, President Trump, right now, again, he's playing at such a large level. I mean, again, even this week, like with the Russian oil sanctions, he calls Modi on the phone from India and says, hey, we're going to sanction. You should stop buying oil. They stopped buying oil. China's even respecting those sanctions. And then he calls the crown prince of Saudi Arabia and says to MBS, hey, you guys should be producing more oil, sell it to India. I mean, he's got literally every world leader at his fingertips right now, whether in person or on the phone, and he's just giving a master class in peace through strength. And I think that Xi is observing all this. When those two sit down together, I think President Trump, greatest deal maker ever to sit in the White House, he's going to strike a deal, I think, that's going to be favorable. And he's got the strongest tool in the toolkit of anybody in the world. America's got the biggest and strongest and most desirable economy. China's quite dependent on it. China is highly dependent on energy imports every day. They're dependent on food imports every day. President Trump's got a lot of cards to play, and he's going to know how to play them.
Well, Secretary, look, President Trump has slapped sanctions on two of Russia's biggest oil producers, Rosneft and Lukoil, after saying a meeting with Putin in Hungary would yield no results in ending the war on Ukraine. I just returned from a tour of the Permian Basin this week. We were in Midland, Texas all week, and it became clear to me that oil and gas production is our most important weapon when it comes to national security. We're going to be bringing you my entire exclusive reporting from the Permian Basin beginning next week. But certainly, when I take a look at what the potential is coming out of this one region, the Permian Basin, I can understand how this is the most important natural resource that America has right now. So why wouldn't we be producing as much as we can to ensure that we are insulated against these adversaries, whether it be Russia, Iran, or anyone else?
Well, you get it, Maria, and you're down there with Harold Hamm, one of the leaders that cracked the code on how to produce shale oil and shale gas in America. That's led to energy abundance. Energy abundance is energy dominance. President Trump creating the Energy Dominance Council. He understands everything that you just said. No one has wielded energy diplomacy like President Trump with peace through strength. And again, with these Russian oil sanctions, finally the EU waking up and sanctioning, after 4 years of fighting, sanctioning Russian LNG coming into Europe, which they became dependent on. We have such an opportunity for America to sell energy to our friends and allies so they can stop buying it from our adversaries. It's such a tool for us, for our economy and for world peace. It's one of the reasons why President Trump has been able to end wars around the country. And guess what? When America's producing energy, it's great for the environment and great for the economy, because America produces energy cleaner, safer, smarter than anywhere in the world. And now we just have to get some states in America to get on board, because we've got places like New York blocking gas pipelines, California, some crazy anti-energy policies that are, causing high costs for their citizens for electricity. And more energy means lower prices. More energy means more electricity to win the AI arms race. President Trump has got it dialed in. He understands what it takes, and we're executing every day on his strategy.
Absolutely. But, Secretary, real quick before you go on this government shutdown, now into day 24, Democrats, Republicans no closer to coming to a deal to end this stalemate. And the Senate rejected another pair of dueling bills yesterday that would have helped keep some federal workers paid, as federal SNAP benefits could be suspended beginning next week. Democrats want negotiations over extending Obamacare subsidies. And we know what the Republicans say, that they're not going to do anything while they're hostage to all of this. What has been the impact to our national parks and the interior of this country? The Bureau under your jurisdiction have furloughed contingency plans, right? Where are you on that?
Well, I just, again, speaking to all the business people that are watching this show, government shutdowns are just a massive waste of time, loss of productivity, and cost to the American citizens. I mean, they make no sense whatsoever in this particular case. And again, small businesses populate these entrance communities to our national parks. This is fall is a time of a lot of visitation. We're doing everything we can to try to keep our parks open and keep visitor centers open, but we're unable to use money that was appropriated to actually run our parks. So we're pulling money, basically stealing, from Peter to pay Paul, but pulling money out of recreation fee funds to try to hold it open. Some places, states have stepped in, visitors groups, volunteer groups, helping to keep visitor centers open. But at some point, all that cash runs out, and all the Democrats are doing is hurting the economy, hurting American businesses, hurting American small businesses. It makes absolutely no sense whatsoever what they're doing. We're fighting to make sure we keep permitting going. We're permitting at a record pace for oil and gas. Drill, baby, drill. The interior represents 20% of the land in America. We've got so much work to do every day. Let's let America get back to work. Come on, senators. We just need 5 more of you to vote for this thing. Wake up and do the right thing for America and for the people that you're supposedly serving. All right,
Secretary, we'll be watching all of that. We so appreciate your time this morning. Thank you. Interior Secretary Doug Burgum. We'll see you soon, sir. Stay with us. We'll be right back.